Hello students, the Teachers Academy welcomes you back to the recorded video lessons of P6 English Grammar course. Today's video lesson is about the usage of time adverbs such as very, to and enough. Along with that, we will also discuss the usage of expressing quantity such as all of, most of, one of and none of. Let us begin today's lesson with the concept very plus adjective. On the screen you can see what has been written. The first example is, the coffee is very hot but I can drink it. So, very hot means it is hot but possible to drink. So, the thing you need to keep in mind is, very means a high degree or a large amount. Let's have a look at another example. The fridge is very heavy but Mike can lift it. What very heavy means is that it is difficult but still possible. Let's move on to the next concept, which is to plus adjective. On the screen you can see, the coffee is too hot. I can't drink it. So, what it basically means is it is not possible to drink. So, while using to, you need to remember to normally has a negative meaning. Let's have a look at another example. The fridge is too heavy. Steve can't lift it. So, as you can see, too heavy implies it is not possible to lift. So you need to keep in mind that to normally has a negative meaning. Let's move on to the next concept, which is enough with adjective and noun. Let us look at the screen first. When enough is after the adjective, this is the first concept to keep in mind. Example, big enough envelopes. You can see big is the adjective which has been used before enough, which means enough has been used after the adjective big. So what it does is it describes the adjective. What the sentence basically means is that the envelopes are too small. We need bigger sized envelopes. Another concept to keep in mind is when enough is before the adjective. For example, enough big envelopes. You can see that enough has been used before the adjective big. Now it describes the noun phrase. So the sentence basically means we have some big envelopes but we need more. Now let's see how these are used in examples. The first example is, I don't have enough money. You can see money is a noun, so it comes after enough. What the sentence basically means that I don't have enough money. Next example is, I will never be rich enough. You see, rich is an adjective, so it comes before enough. The next example is, he is not tall enough to play basketball. You can see tall is the adjective here, that is why it has been used before enough. Let's look at the last example. There is not enough food for everybody. Go and buy some more. So you can see food is the noun which has been used after the enough. So remember that nouns are always used after enough and adjectives are always used before the word enough. Now let's move on to the next concept. The next concept is expressing quantity with these words: all of, most of, one of and none of. These words can be used with countable nouns as well as uncountable nouns. Let's begin with all of the plus uncountable nouns. For example, all of the money, almost all of the alcohol, all of the sugar. All these are uncountable nouns. Let's see the usage of all of the plus countable nouns. For example, all of the notebooks. Next example is all of the pen. Next is all of the children. So notebooks, pen and children are countable nouns. Let's move on to the next concept, which is expressing quantity with most of the. Let's look at the examples. When you talk about most of the with uncountable nouns, the examples are most of the honey, most of the sugar, most of the alcohol. So you see, honey, sugar and alcohol are uncountable nouns. Now let's move on to most of the plus countable nouns. Most of the pens, most of the children, most of the notebooks. So pens, children and notebooks are countable nouns. Let's move on to the next concept, which is expressing quantity with one of the and none of the. Let's start with the usage of one of the plus countable nouns. The examples are one of the girls, one of the books, one of the pencils. So you can see girls, books and pencils are countable nouns. Now let's discuss none of the plus countable nouns as well as uncountable noun. None of the girls. Girls is the countable noun here. None of the music. Music is the uncountable noun here. None of the children. Children is the countable noun here. Now let's see how all of, most of, one of and none of are used in examples. The first example is one of my friends is from Italy. So one of my friends has been used. In another example, all of the cars have wheels. All of the cars. The other example is I have lived in New York most of my life. So most of my life has been used here. None of this money is mine. None of this money. Another example, most of the people in my city are friendly. So we are talking about most of the people. Last example is none of them are friendly. None of them has been used here. So today we discussed the concept of very, to and enough and some of the words used to express quantity. Thanks for watching this video lecture. Now it's time for you to do the exercises.